Since the reboot of the series, Mortal Kombat has implemented a ton of features to make the classic fighting form stand out in the modern era. This included enhanced moves, cinematic fatalities, and, the topic of today, super moves. After getting lots of requests over the past year, we're finally ranking all 35 Mortal Kombat 9 X-rays from the worst to the best.
Fight!
Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everyone. My name is Nick, and welcome to or welcome back to the channel. If you haven't done so, consider clicking the subscribe button to join the Whack Pack today, and to stay tuned for some more Mortal content coming your way. Today, we're finally looking at all the super moves, or X-rays, from Mortal Kombat 9. These were introduced to show more brutality in the combat, and is a great way to advance the series, especially today with the NRS era. This is the first NetherRealm Studios game to implement super moves into the gameplay, and have been quite a great highlight if you ask me. I have lots of great memories of myself playing with my friends and seeing their reactions like, Today we're going to rank these based on how creative they are, the pacing, along with how well they fit to the character. Also, we're going to be looking at how brutal these are too. I'm just going to say right from the get-go, I like all of these X-rays. If I rank one pretty low, it's either because it doesn't fit the character well, or it just comes off as a bit generic. Some may have some pacing or presentation issues as well, but I wanted to let you know because I find a lot of these to be really good. Alright, with that, get your super meter filled, press those triggers, and let's punch into all 35 X-rays ranked. I really hate to do this, but taking the bottom spot is the poster boy of the series, Scorpion. Like all of the X-rays, none of them are bad. The ones I just placed low could have been better or don't feel character unique enough. Sadly, the Shirai Ryu Ninja has it the worst. I understand this was probably the first one developed in the game, and it was just to understand the technology, and it's clear when you compare it to other characters. It's just a simple punch and a stomp, nothing too special there. Thankfully, in the next two titles, they managed to improve his supers in both MKX and 11. But credit where credit's due, this really pioneered the X-ray supers and how they would advance over time. Moving up one more placement with a character I just covered recently, Shiva. For the playable Shokan in this game, hers could have been better. I wished it utilized her forearms in some way instead of stomping on the opponent twice, but it's still a pretty brutal one in my opinion. On to number 33, and we're already looking at the Springwood Slasher himself, Freddy Krueger. For how unique of a character he is in terms of gameplay, I found his super to be pretty underwhelming. Imagine if they pulled off a specific reference to Freddy vs. Jason and gouge out their eyes after a chest stab. Would have been pretty cool. Sadly, this comes off as pretty generic, but slightly better than the previous two entries. Up next on our list is the first of our non-playable characters, or NPCs, and one of the two sub-bosses in the arcade mode, Kintaro. Where I praised his two fatalities from this game, his super is pretty underwhelming. It's just a double punch to the gut, a double punch to the head, and then a wind-up punch to the face. Again. Kinda feels like it lingers a bit too long, and it doesn't do too much besides just punch the chest and face. Overall, it's okay, but it could have been loads better. Finishing up the last of the generic super moves comes from Smoke. Though I find the German suplex to be an awesome addition, I feel all of the ninjas honestly could have pulled something off like that, making it come off not too exclusive for Smoke. As Maximilian Dude said in his video covering MK9 supers, what if he used smoke to break through your bones? That would have been awesome and cool to see. For the generic supers, or just supers that anyone could really pull off, this one is honestly one of those standouts.
Stay down.
Alright, from this point on, we're moving on to more character-fitting supers. These include some element that fits with the character outside of their startup animation. Not gonna lie, many of these could have tied for a single placement, but knowing how this is a ranking, I had to put this in an order at the end of the day. With that, let's continue and move on to number 30. Up next, we've got the third downloadable character, the Purple Prince himself, Rain. Though he's a character I like playing as, his X-ray is pretty okay. The arm break is unique, but something really anyone could pull off. What makes this stand out is actually the around-the-world kick that Rain is known for. Roundhouse kicking the opponent in the face to kick them onto the other side, which can lead to a nice follow-up combo if timed right. But unlike the Prince song, it's not one I adore. Cracking into the 29th spot with Major Jackson Briggs. For the grappler character enhanced with metal arms, his X-ray super move fits him pretty well. Taking notes from Nightfall by breaking the opponent twice is pretty nice. Though it moves pretty fast, it's still alright. I feel it could have been a bit better if he decided to do a back break followed by a tombstone drop to break the neck. Overall, not a bad super. Moving on to the Outworld Hidden Fighter and friend to Katana, Jade. This is a good way to utilize the bow staff, smacking the groin and then striking the lumbar spine. Of the 4 lady ninjas of MK9, I sadly found hers to be the weakest. Mainly, I think it just rushes too fast between the 2 spots, and it seems to lack a lot of blood. Overall, it's not bad, but more character fitting than some previous entries. From one lady ninja to the other with the first downloadable character and another rumor to become a real character, Scarlet. For a, by a technicality, brand new character, her playstyle and gimmick was pretty nice, focusing on blood. On top of that, her X-ray is pretty neat, though I do wish she utilized her dagger in her X-ray instead of a palm to the nose, but I can't deny the stiletto to the eye is a great touch. It's alright, but wait until we see how the team improves it with her fatal blow in MK11. It's definitely a top tier one there. Moving on to the 26th spot with the Shaman Warrior, who I promise is going to be covered on the channel. So Dad, you can stop with the passive-aggressive post-it notes you leave on my door asking for Nightwolf. For how much both my dad and I like Nightwolf, I feel like his X-ray could have been a bit better. Don't get me wrong, swinging into the collarbones with his tomahawks is cool, but if instead of a kick to the back, I would have preferred his green shoulder charge instead. Instead of breaking the spine, maybe going for like the back of the skull or maybe the neck or something. Other than that, it's a pretty good super. Up next is the descendant of the great Kung Lao, Kung Lao. Once again, go figure. I really like this one. Starting this one off with the spin, catching to strike their laugh box is a good start. As they're out of breath and bend over, he follows it up with a test your strike on the back of their neck, which is a good way to continue it. A pretty brutal super, so tips of the hat for you, Kung Lao. At 24, and we're looking at the PlayStation 3 exclusive character, the God of War himself, Kratos. Where his gameplay utilizes a lot of his Olympian arsenal during his journey dethroning Zeus and the other gods, it's cool to see some of those applied to his super. Zipping in with the Blades of Exile and then striking the ribs is a good start, followed by a strong hit to the head with the Nemean Cestus, or the Lion Fists. Looking at it structurally, this has a similar structure to Kintaro's, minus the head punches and replacing the fist with his weapons. This is a good super, but it's not really a god tier super. Moving down, or down under, the list to the Black Dragon leader, Kano. We knew his would really focus on those Bowie knives. And yes, Bowie knives, thank you for the correction there in the Kano ranking video. Digging each knife into the femur as it cracks into dust like Nature Valley granola bars is quite disturbing. And, since Kano fights dirty, ending it with a nice kick to the face. For a super with one of the longest startups, it really pays off with damage and one with nice pacing. Way to cut in and make an impact, Kano. Heading down this list, and we're looking at my mom's favorite character and queen to Shao Kahn, Sindel. This killer queen likes to fight dirty with her super. Having her magical hair hoist your leg up in the air like a stretching gymnast, to take a steel toe boot to break the pubis and ischium. Yo, big shoutouts to my high school anatomy professor for that one. Following it up with an elbow hyperextending the knee, ending it with a banshee scream to throw him on the other side of the screen. Dirty move, but effective, making everyone cringe. Headed into the first secret fighter of the series, and the character NRS can't decide to make more human or reptile, Reptile. In MK9, Reptile and Kano are the only two playable characters with 3 action supers. Where 2 of Kano's were repeated strikes, Reptile has at least 3 different actions, making it stand out a bit more for me. First being pretty unsettling, pulling a Three Stooges gag and stabbing the eyes, followed by a solid neck twist and ending it with an underwhelming kick to the chest. Besides that, the first 2 actions are great and could have been placed higher if the last action was improved. Blade charging into the top 20 with the general of the Tarkatan army, Baraka. Where many of the X-rays either feel like combo strings showing the internal damage, or feeling more character specific, there are a few that are callbacks to classic fatalities. First on this list is Baraka, paying tribute to his stab lift. Instead, he adds onto it with a stab to the neck and then a stab to the eye for good measure. I love the end where he just kicks them off with a blade arm. If you ask me, Baraka's super is quite uplifting. Hey, we're finally looking at my favorite character in the series and someone who just got their costumes ranked, Sub-Zero. Even though both his and Scorpion's were some of the first to be developed, I found Sub-Zero's to be quite interesting and brutal. Shoulder charging to reach into your stomach, freezing then crushing your liver is just, super disgusting. Ending it by going head to head, quite literally, with a headbutt, breaking their skull apart. Like freezing an internal organ, it's cold to the core. Upgrading into the 18th spot with the cyber-enhanced version of Sub-Zero. Cyber Sub just edges out above the human version for its presentation and the elements. For one, it includes 2 icy elements, the ice ball to the head and the sword through the back, in comparison to human Sub-Zero with just 1 ice action. This super also stands out as it's the only one in the game that can be performed in the air. So there's that. Other than that, quite a unique super for a character I'm not the biggest fan of. Making our way to the 17th spot with the God of Thunder himself, Thor Odinson. Lord Raiden. Though many of these can be seen as comical as the time has passed, there are a handful that are designed to be funny, with Raiden being one of those. Starting with an electrical flash, teleporting to elbow their spine, and then teleporting again to chop their face are nice breakers. However, what makes this stand out the most for me is the light grenade at the end. Just having the opponent fly back as he has it detonate in their face always made me laugh. Quite a shocking one if you ask me. Entering the 16th spot with the second DLC character and probably the more popular 3D era character, Kenshi. This blind swordman has quite the interesting and cool super in the title. Throwing the sword into the opponent, pulling it out, then hitting their face with the blunt end is a cool way to bust up their face. I really love the follow-up too, where he slices you and has all the ribs break apart and even clipping the chin. Way to cut in with an awesome X-ray, Kenshi. Finally looking at the Princess of Outworld, Kitana. Of the projectile-based supers, hers is actually one of the better ones, in my opinion. Throwing the fans to teleport behind you and shove those into the back of your head is an awesome start. I love how she takes it from there by teleporting in front of you to rip the fans out and then stab your eyes. The great detail is the face bones breaking apart as the fans force its way into the skull. Like many Kitana players, I too am a fan of this one. From one sister to another with this savage clone and Shao Kahn's preferred daughter, Mileena. I really like hers quite a bit, as it pays tribute to her classic surgeon finisher from Mortal Kombat 2. Instead of buckets of blood flying out, you get to see the internal damage she's doing as she stabs one of the vital organs, followed by a quick knee to the face. Very quick and effective, like the Sai, short and to the point. Bicycle kicking into the 13th spot is the champion of Mortal Kombat and one of many fighters inspired by the likes of Bruce Lee, Liu Kang. As I had mentioned in the Liu Kang ranking video, the Shaolin uppercut wasn't meant to be a fatality and be more of a non-lethal takedown instead. Of the ways you could readapt this move, making it a super is just perfect. Having the startup animation being the cartwheel and the first strike being the uppercut, showing the broken jaw is neat. I love how he adds on to it by adding the high kick as they fall down, breaking their face even more. What a cool way to take a classic element people weren't too fond of and improve it in such an awesome way. From humble monks to Hollywood douchebags, we're moving on to our next character, Johnny Cage. This one is a standout for 3 reasons. 1, it's the only counter-based super in the game, meaning you have to hit Johnny to activate it. 2, it's one of 3 supers involving a smashing to the Scongealies, which I found to be the best fitting for Johnny Cage himself. 3rd, it has the potential for a combo follow-up, which I like to follow up with the Shadow Kick. On top of that, this cinematically looks really cool and painful. The Hollywood himbo knows what the fans want to see. Punch walking ahead to number 11 with the first sub-boss of the series, Goro. Where the other 2 Shokan supers were pretty underwhelming, I find Goro's to take advantage of his forearms in the best way possible. Grabbing the opponent and taking notes from the mountain and crushing their skull like their name was Prince Oberyn, following it up by tossing them into the air and then catching and slamming them into the ground, pretty much breaking everything above their belly button. Quite a brutal and savage X-ray, but fitting for the longtime champion and prince of the Shokan. Heading into the top 10 with the ruler of Outworld and one who dominated the final boss finishers list, Shao Kahn. As mentioned in the boss ranking, Kahn loves to showcase his extreme might, and this really demonstrates how deadly and powerful he is. Slamming you into the ground with his wrath hammer to knock you on your face, slightly picking you up and then stomping your head is such a dirty tactic and makes for a cool visual. Lifting your limp body to give you the ultimate headbutt is an amazing way to cap it all off. You'll definitely feel the wrath of this one. No kidding, just look at the damage. When Shao hits you with this, you're gonna feel the consequences. Nomad dashing into the 9th spot with the former Black Dragon member, Cabal. There's just something so special about this one. Starting it off with the Nomad Dash to slide and break both of their knees is a horrid sight to see. I love how he runs around the world to stab you with the hook swords down your shoulders, breaking apart several bones in your body. The final touch I love most is the creepy laugh he gives off after he throws you away. Gotta say, this one got me hooked in a flash. Checking out the first final boss of the series and one of the members of the Deadly Alliance, Shang Tsung. His super provides such a cool visual many other characters aren't able to do. Pulling the opponent in with his sorcery to give a visual of what it looks like when someone's
About to get his soul sucked.
and how it disrupts the muscles throughout the body. As the opponent falls to their knees, weakened, Shang Tsung implements more dirty tactics by kneeing their face. What a show stealer. Moving into the edgier older brother to Sub-Zero, Noob Saibot. Where Noob's playstyle really focused on his shadow clones to extend combos, it only made sense to have his clone come in for his X-ray too. Having him hold them down and so Noob can punch them square in the face is neat. Then having the clone knee their back to break it apart is an awesome follow-up. And probably what makes this stand out over many supers is the kick to the gut, which makes the opponent vomit all over his leg. Yeah, that's kinda gross and kinda reminds me after taking my first shot of Fireball, but it's effective at dealing some good damage. Number 6, and we're looking at the mustard cyber ninja himself, Cyrax. Not gonna lie, this one just kicks ass. Propelling the opponent upward to teleport kick and break their back is just an awesome start with great flow motion to it. The best way to follow it up is with a tombstone drop, I think, with the foot on their head, breaking their neck and face. With the fit to the character, the flow motion, cinematic, and pacing, this is just awesome. Cyrax's super is the bomb. Cracking into the top 5 with the spectral sorcerer made of 1,000 souls, Ermac. This one has always been a favorite of mine. Mixing both the enhanced soul slam and levitating slam into one is perfectly fitting just for Ermac. The sight of the opponent's neck bending backwards and seeing the arms and legs raised when being slammed are quite disturbing. Like the character, Ermac's super is just magical. Pulling over into the 4th spot with my least favorite legacy character, the John Cena look-alike, Stryker. For how much I didn't care for this character, both in the classic and in the reboot, his super is undeniably pretty awesome. Utilizing tools to beat up the opponent looks cool. Slamming the flashlight on top of their head, swinging the nightstick across their jaw, ending it all by shoving the taser in the face, breaking their jaw and electrocuting their body. Even though Stryker is just a guy, they feel like these elements just fit him. Guess this one just leaves the opponents busted up. Taking the bronze medal is the other member of the Deadly Alliance that really needs some coverage, Quan Chi. With him being the sorcerer more focused on mind games and summoning, he has got one of the better supers in the whole game. Forcing you to slam his skull to break your frontal lobe is already cool enough, but then forcing you to crack your neck is just top tier. Players who managed to beat the whole game to unlock Quan and check out this one got a real treat. Our runner-up will go to the first female fighter in the series, Sonya Blade. For someone who's close to being just a person with no powers, both her fighting ability and unique style makes for an awesome X-ray just to watch. The long opening string of attacks is a great way to make it stand out. Followed by the neck break with her feet, which is an awesome callback to Kano's death in a 1995 movie. Continuing it with the flying kicks, catching them, then slamming their crown into the ground. Cinematically, it looks amazing, it's also very brutal, and it's an elegant super. This is also one of the best fitting ones in the entire game. Major Blade brings the major pain. Our number 1 X-ray super move goes to Ketchup himself, Sector. When this was first revealed at E3 2010, dear god I feel so old, I thought this was a perfect way to incorporate multiple character elements. Opening with the missile to follow it with the teleport uppercut is so smooth and cool to witness, busting up their face and propelling them upward. As they're flipping in the air, seeing him charge and rocket punch into their spine. I also love the details seeing the opponent bend over Sector's hand, just showcasing how powerful that hit was. Another standout outside of its presentation is the sound design. The sound of the metal breaking their jaw, the charge up sound, and the impact is so appealing to the ears. With the presentation, perfect fit, and flow motion pacing, this to me is the best X-ray in Mortal Kombat 9. So there's my ranking of all 35 of Mortal Kombat 9's X-ray super moves. Ranking super moves is something I'd love to cover on this channel. I also feel this would be a great opportunity to branch into something like Street Fighter and even Samurai Showdown. So please let me know what other games you'd like to see. Also, which X-ray was your favorite? Just let me know in the comments down below, and let's not have an argument about them. They're just our opinions. Also, happy Thanksgiving to you all. I'm super thankful for your continuous support for nearly 2 years. As we're wrapping up 2022, which is already crazy, I'd like to put out a video sharing my plans for 2023. I'd like to get into more content, like trailer breakdowns and initial reactions to fighting game content. 2023 is looking like a great year for fighting games. Be sure to come back next time for another character finisher ranking video. This character may have had a limited run, but he is the Shaman. Until then, thank you so much for your continuous support. My name is Nick, and I am super thankful for you all. Don't forget to smile and have an amazing rest of your day.